I'm Beck and Food's my life. Now, look, many of my followers have been saying to me, Beck, this is all very well and good, but where's the curry? Well, the curry is here right now, today. So don't go anywhere. It's coming right up. So today I'm making my mum's Sri Lankan lamb curry. But the good news is this recipe can be adapted to chicken or beef. So it's a very versatile recipe that you've got to have in your collection. In my bowl, I have 1.5 kilograms of lamb, and I like to use the lamb chump chops. And the reason why is because they have this little bit of bone and a little bit of marrow in each slice. And bone, marrow, fat, those things add flavour to your curries, to anything you cook really. So that is why I like to choose the chump chops. I've cut them up into little chunks and I've just been sitting them in my bowl. By the way, for my local viewers, if you want to know where I get my meat from, I go to the Barry Family Butchers. They always look after me there, and their quality of their meat is second to none. So they've looked after me today and they've given me some beautiful meat to use. In with my lamb, I have added 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Of course, you can adapt that if you want it more hot, less hot. And I have used 4 very generous dessert spoons of Sri Lankan dark roasted curry powder. Now, if you haven't seen my recipe on how to make curry powder, you've got to go there next and have a look at how to make it from scratch, because it's the best if you can make it from scratch. The flavour is so intense. If you can't, then go to your supermarket, get a good quality curry powder, or better still, go to an Indian grocery store and you can buy Sri Lankan dark curry powder from there, and that will be probably your next best choice. All right, so I've got the curry powder, the chili powder, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and I've just mixed them all with my hands, and that's been sitting on my bench top. The meat is now room temperature, perfect to start cooking. Okay, so my pan is on a medium heat. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ghee. To this I'm going to add 1 sprig of curry leaves. I'm just going to fold that in 2. 1 stick of lemongrass, my piece of pandan leaf, 1 stick of cinnamon, 4 cardamom pods, and about 8 cloves. Just going to put those aromats in the oil and give it a little bit of a stir. Now, you can always use coconut oil as well, but I like ghee. I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add about 6 cloves of garlic, 1 3-centimetre piece of ginger. I've got 2 banana chilies here. You don't have to add that, but they were just growing in the garden, so I've chucked them in. They have a lovely flavour. And 1 large brown onion sliced. Throw that all in. Okay, I've given that a good mix. Now we're going to add all that lovely lamb. Now I'm going to add 2 Roma tomatoes that I've diced, and here I have 1 litre of coconut milk. So I'm going to pour that in. Beautiful. And of course, give it a good mix. Now, to give this curry some lovely colour, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of paprika and I'm going to add 1 pretty generous teaspoon of beef stock powder, because that's just going to add flavour. Okay, I'm going to keep that now on a high heat. It's going to come to a bit of a boil and I'm going to leave the lid off and just let that cook. Okay, so that's been bubbling away now for about half an hour. I've just had a little taste of the meat and the meat is nice and tender. However, I do think we need to add more salt at this stage. So I'm going to add another teaspoon of salt and then taste again. It's really important that you keep tasting so you get the seasoning just to your liking. So I'll give that a mix, taste it again. If I need more salt, I'll keep adding it until I'm happy. So the next step I'm about to show you in the curry making process is a very important step because it adds more flavour. A lot of people skip this step, and it's okay if you do, but you have to realise that you're going to get better results if you take the time to do this. So this is something Mum does if she's making a curry when people come over. So what we're going to do is I've taken the curry off the stove and I'm going to tip the whole entire thing into a large bowl. Carefully. Okay, and we're going to use this pan again. So just make sure it's all scraped out. Now, I'm in another bowl. I'm going to pick out all those pieces of meat and we're going to cook them again. So it's like a twice cooked meat. This is going to take a while. I'll come back when I'm finished. So I've used a slotted spoon and now I've separated the meat to that lovely gravy. Okay, so this process is called tempering the meat. It's when we're going to cook it again. So I'm going to add another bit of ghee to my pan. And once that ghee's heated up a little bit, I'm going to add all my meat to the pan. So I'm going to crank up the heat nice and high to fry off these little pieces of meat. This is a lot easier if you're doing a chicken curry, for example. So if you're making a curry with chicken drumsticks, you'd put in a couple of drumsticks at a time and fry them. But because we've got little chunks of meat, we're just throwing it all in at once. Essentially, we want to brown that meat. My little pieces of lamb are nice and dry now, and I've fried them up nice and good. So I'm going to return all that lovely gravy to the pot. So I've given that a nice stir. What we're going to do now is bring that down to a simmer, let it cook a little bit slowly now, and let that sauce thicken. I'm also going to give a nice squeeze of lemon into this to add a little bit of tartness. So I'm going to let that simmer uncovered now until I can see that a lot of that gravy has reduced. I've just had a little taste of that and I was still not quite happy with the seasoning, so I've added another probably 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and now I've got half a cup of coconut cream that I'm adding to the mix just to help that sauce thicken. Well, you wanted my mum's curry recipe and today I've delivered. And lucky me, I've got a fantastic dinner to enjoy tonight. This lamb curry is amazing. And that lamb is so tender. I was simmering that meat as long as it took to get that gravy nice and thick, and that's just melting in my mouth. And that chili, just right. It's got a really good kick to it. Oh, I could keep eating this, but I better not because now it's your turn. So please check out the description box below where you'll find my website, www.foodsmylife.org. From there you'll find all my recipes, and if you keep watching the video right through to the end, you'll see a subscription link. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll just get little updates every time I've done something new in the kitchen. I'll see you next time.